Quick greetings. This is a repost of our last video that got taken down for medical misinformation violations. Okay, so we're just going to look to go to that uh, part of the video when it comes and see if we can uh, that part out. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and replay Cherokee, come back home. Quick greetings. This will be a very short and quick video. This is more for my sanity than for yours. In my video talking about the Moors. Now, this was a video where by Indian tax standing. Okay. Now, in that video, I said something that I needed to have more clarity on, because when we read Chavez El Bay, when we read his article, and I'm just going to have to link that article. I talk about it so much. He is saying that the Morocco in America was founded before the Morocco in Africa. Now, this is his history. He may have gotten that part wrong, but for the most part, he is telling us that the 5 civilized tribes are Moors. Now, what we Indians can say is the 5 civilized tribes have been infiltrated by Moors. Okay, that is more likely what happened. Indians were very territorial, right? How we look letting Moors just come up in here. So were the 5 civilized tribes Moors, or were they just simply infiltrated by the religious system of the Moors? Remember, he said that they started out as priests, right? So were these priests ministering to the females? Oh, help me somebody. Who's always going to church, right? It's almost like a thing that Indian men don't really like to go to church, right? That's your patriarchy, right? They ain't down with this, right? But who fills up the churches as we know, even to today, right? It's a time to get dressed up and dolled up, right? So isn't this what must have happened to the Indian women being seduced by a religion from the Moors, who created all of the Abrahamic religions? Let's be very clear. Very clear. That's why they all started out black. You know, you hear that a lot. Oh, it started out black. Yeah, that's what the Moors do. They start out black, and then next thing you know, they done went white. And then they painting religious figures. We had Putin show us the original ones, right? That's what the Moors, y'all. Come on now, get real. I ain't talking for my health. This is what these motherfuckers did. I'm sorry. There goes that far. These are very, oh God, there's the level of deception with these priests is nothing like you're used to seeing, because it's where you least expect it to come from. You just least expect your priest to be such liars. Come on, let's say a thing. Oh, Call a thing a thing. So what has to happen? I'm just going to say, y'all, the patriarchy has to come back to America, y'all. But it's the Indian one, because it's looking to me like all throughout these episodes, it is the female being cavorted by Moors. And then next thing, she's teaching her Indian child all the history of Moors, because he's just flooding her mind with his history, genociding her as she stands. Little mama, you're gonna have to come back home. You're gonna have to come back on home, girl. And this has just gone too this has gone too far now. It's gone way too far. And in order to reclaim your land, we have a lot of Indians talking about the land, but I don't think they understand what has to happen before that can happen. Your ancestors are not playing either. They're not trying to do this over. There has to be a cleansing, y'all. There has to be a spiritual and mental cleansing before you get this land. Are you willing to do what has to be done? Are you willing to give up decades of indoctrination so that you can have your land back? And see, that's the only way it won't be stolen again. Now, if you're holding on to what your colonizer gave you, there's a good chance that you'll just slip right back into the clutches. Okay. In the last video, we talked about Fard Muhammad. I'm kind of doing that thing I do all the time. I go all over the place. But walk with me, as some Indians say, if you will. Fard Muhammad. Now, we didn't give you the whole context of what he was doing. Fard Muhammad was dispatched from the Moors to target Indians in the South, Indian women. He went door to door selling scarves. Do any Indians recall that at some point you might have had the females buying goods from like this free peddler who sold dresses and scarves to the females? I recall that in my family, and this was in the 70s, yo. It's something. It's a soft version of mental colonization. But I remember even my mother and her sister, they bought clothes from this man who came like a door to door with his goods. I wonder what else he was selling. Was it a religion? Is he a Moor? Fard Muhammad was dispatched to the South. It was at a time with I think before the Great Migration they're talking about. And, they had the Ku Klux Klan, doing their thing in the South. And I guess for Indians who still weren't deterred or still didn't leave, they had the peddler. The Moorish peddler, in the case of Fard Muhammad, going door to door, telling the women that this was not their country. They come from, although it's in Africa, he was making sure that he told them it was North Africa, right where the Moors were expelled to, right? North Africa, right? So that North Africa becomes more special than the rest of Africa, just like the Moors here. The Moorish Indians become more special, right? Iroquois Confederacy, you become the darling of the Moorish Empire in America, coming through you. Because they did everything to make you hate your own history and look down on your own ancestors and the struggles. Struggles apparently only happening because we were always being messed with, shall we say, with a Moorish, one of the Moorish religions, right? The Moors created that religion. The whole thing was a religion. Okay, so Fard Muhammad was going. His mission was to get the rest of the Indians out of the South through a soft colonization, sailing, the commerce. That's what commerce is. You know, if you any commercial you see has a lot of uh, coercion in it, right? Commerce is coercion. They got to make you want the product, yo. So there's a lot of persuasion. It's not just commerce, it's a whole mental thing going on, y'all. This is what the Moors bring. It's all, it's not just selling you a product. It's selling you a whole life. It's selling you a whole vision, a whole way of being. It's not just a pair of jeans. It's the body of that person wearing the jeans. It's the lifestyle that he's displaying. It's the sexiness of the whole thing. Selling a car, using women, showing their body to sell a car and all of that, right? What is commerce? Let's break it down, y'all. Think about it. But right now we're still talking about him. So Fard Muhammad, that was getting Indians to leave their land in the South to head up north. That's what he was doing. That's what he was. Wait. What was it? Okay, wait. Let's get it a little more accurate. He wasn't pushing them to move. What he was doing was convincing these Indians that they were not from the South. Okay, let's get it correct. So the Indians that were terrorized out of the South have already gone up north, you know. The ones that are there, all they need is brainwashing. So they start telling Indians that, oh, I'm not from here. What you sis, what you talking about? I'm from the north of Africa. What wait, but I'm from the north of Africa. But like Cleopatra. Yeah. I'm the Queen of Sheba. So the female becomes the queen of the Nile, and she's teaching this to her offspring. By now, she's probably married one of these Moors, right? And he's just making her the queen of the Nile, right? The Cleopatra, the Queen of Sheba. Then then she's queen, right? But she's not an American queen, y'all. So Fard Muhammad, his mission was to convince the remaining Indians that they're not from America. He sold them scars, telling them that the fine fabric that this scarf, the fine silk that the scarf is made from, it originates where you're from, the north of Africa. That's probably all they had was silk. Motherfuckers was probably starving over there. It had no lights in the run, Well, that's what Africa be showing us, right? Oh, the lights work sometime and the toilet flush sometime, But yet they got these silk scarves. I think y'all problems are bigger than wearing a silk scarf, yo. I hear it's kind of cold over there at time too. You don't want silk at that time, right? So anyway, going over the last video, it's becoming more clear to me that the Northeast Woodland area was strictly Algonquin. And then we had an an infiltration of like a Moorish rhetoric, you know. That's what it's looking like to me. And then they appeal to the females, and she breaks off into a matriarch, is what these uh, findings are showing me. So, okay, why am I here so soon? Well, it's supposed to be a short video because the dilemma I had was in my video reestablishing my Indian tax standing. I said that there was a Morocco in Africa. It had to be before the time when Morocco was founded in 1956, right? So we have Amin Hotep, Chavez El Bey, telling us that he's going to go with the Morocco in America that was founded in 1856 because that's the original Morocco, whereas the Morocco that was founded in 1956, I think it was. Oh gosh, 1856 is it? Wait. The 1956. That's when Morocco was established as Morocco. Maybe that's when it was. It could be when it got independence. But anyway, the point is. The point is. I'm sorry. I'm sort of skating here. There was a Morocco in Africa before the one in Indiana. There was a Morocco in Africa way before 1856 when the Morocco it was put here. And so this I wanted to show you my I did a quick AI query, and this is what they say. Okay, so the question was when, let's make that 2 words. When did the Moors get expelled to Morocco? Because they did go to Morocco, right? After they left Spain, did they go to Morocco? So that was a little confusing to me because, what do you call it? Amun Hotep, Chavez El Bey says that there was no Morocco founded in Africa before the one in America in 1856. But here we can read the Moors were expelled from Spain between 1609 and 1614. So they were actually expelled way after Columbus came here, because we were told that basically wasn't the thought that they fell in 1492. So I was under the impression, I think that's what I'm hearing many others say too, is that the Moors got expelled after they got defeated. But apparently they were there for almost like nearly a century? Is that after Columbus came here? The Moors were still enslaved. Let's take a deep breath. The Moors were still in Spain, y'all, when Columbus brought his stank ass over. So let's just sit with that for a minute, because I think we're led to believe that there was no black folks in Spain when Columbus came. They all got defeated, right? According to this find here, they were still there when Britain came here, y'all, because Britain came in the 1600s, right? Okay, now we gotta go somewhere else with this, because now I want to know when did Britain came. What was that year? I'm gonna look it up on my phone. So the Moors were still in Spain, even when we were getting colonized, or right before we got colonized by King James. Okay, when did King James? Okay, we're going to ask my phone. Okay, when did King James uh, colonize? Colonize America? 1606. So the Moors were still in Spain even after King James came here. Is this striking any other Indians as kind of like this is not what we understood? It could be just me, and I'm not freaking like genius or anything. But I was always under the impression that the Moors had uh, been out of Spain even when King James got here. But his first permanent, I'm reading here on my phone, King James I of England granted charters to establish permanent settlements in North America in 1606. And the first permanent English settlement, Jamestown, was established in 1607. The Moors were still in Spain at that time. Did they not know what was going on in America? Hmm. Okay, so they were expelled from Spain. The Moors were expelled from Spain between 1609 and 1614, with the majority settling in North Africa, including Morocco. So, oh boy, the royal order for deportation, they have an exact date, September 22 of 1609. The Moors got deported, y'all. When you get deported, you're going back to where you came from, right? So that means they went back to Africa. The expulsion was completed in 1614. The expulsion was a reaction to a number of factors, including Morisco revolts, two revolts by the Moriscos, descendants of Spain's Muslim population, who had been forced to convert to Christianity. The Ottoman raids. Spanish were threatened by raids along the Spanish coast by the Ottomans. The Inquisition. The Inquisition was a major factor in the ethnic cleansing and religious unification policy. The expulsion was a huge operation, with the Spanish authorities using lies and subterfuge to succeed. The majority of the expelled Moriscos settled in North Africa, and some also settled in Algeria, Tunisia, and Turkey. Yeah, they're saying they were expelled to Morocco as well. So there had to be a Morocco for them to get expelled to in September 22 of 1609. No, well, that's when the royal order started. But they were expelled between 1609. It took time to get rid of them, right? So let's see how long it takes to get rid of the immigrants here in America, because apparently if you're really doing this, it take a little time, right? like 5 years. But I think this is the point we want to make. I just, okay. I'll try to give my overview as best I know. So Spain is like, it seems to be one of the first European countries, even before Britain, right? So we have Spanish, although they were founded by black Moors, right? They are expelling them to, well, the word here is deported. So to me, that's telling me that these people originated in Africa. Because, it's like sort of which came first, the egg or the chicken? Okay, let's really tell it like we all know it ought to be told. Africa is claiming to be the cradle of civilization, right? Europe was never said to be the cradle of civilization. I think in the last maybe 10 years, they sort of was attempting to go there with Europe. But the overall historical picture here that we're given is that everything began in Africa. So this is why we're having, I think, issues because of that whole out of Africa theory. So we're left sort of confused when we hear about where did these Negropeans come from, right? They had to come from Africa because of the out of Africa theory. But then somehow it's like the nobility is being concentrated in Europe. So in Africa, could it be that in Africa they're not seen so noble, but once they establish some Caucasians and get the Caucasian, psyop going, now they can claim royalty in Europe? Is that what's going on here? Well, okay. Again, back to what I've always contended was that it was a priesthood and a dynasty that was thrown out of America that ended up in Africa. Because again, when we go with their history, Egypt in Africa is the oldest thing in Africa. Now then later on they're going to try to say, oh, it had to be Ethiopia because they're lying and saying that the Egyptians came from South Africa. No, the Egyptians came from America. So that's where the issue is coming because wherever they go, they're going to try to say that is the oldest place. But then it gets confusing because now they're going to start, when they get expelled to Africa, they can't tell the world that they were expelled from America because they're starting the narrative that everything originated in Africa. So they want to be the firstborn. Okay? They need to be the firstborn so they can say that everything belongs to them. But that's another thing I want to say, another important thing. I looked at why would they even put it in the Constitution that we're a separate government, right? Everywhere the Moors went, they completely dominated, pretty much, right? But in America now, they're actually admitting with the Constitution that they brought here, because that's also from Europe, y'all. All that stuff is European. The whole legal system is basically Moors in the guise of British, okay? or, Spanish, or whatever. Why, when they come to America, are they sort of taking like it's almost like they're doing a partnership thing? Oh no, we just come for commerce. We're not trying to dominate you. We just everywhere else we did, but we can't do that. Why can't they? The question is, why can't the Moors dominate American Indians? They have to come to us as if they're offering to do business with us, but they're not. In their constitution, they know that we're a sovereign people. So why do the Moors give us a sort of, they begin acknowledging our sovereignty, but they don't really do that in the rest of the world. Because in the rest of the world, they were the first thing. They were not the first thing in America. They were, in other words, you can't really call rank when you're of the same stock. Call royalty over Americans because we're just as royal as they are, because we're basically the same race of people. So they can't just boss up on American Indians like they boss up on the rest of the world. Africa is not the cradle of civilization. But see, this is what Indians have to understand. Even if the Moor was your brother, he's your brother like, again, Jacob was to Esau, like Cain was to Abel. It is in their scripture where we get the dissatisfied brother syndrome from. So they're telling us about themselves. But what they're not telling us is that they're not, in actuality, the firstborn. America is the firstborn. So wherever they go in the world, they will become a secondborn. So in other words, even if they were born at the same time we were born, once they get outside of America, they become the firstborn. In America, they're not. Let's say they were twins born. Okay, let's go. Yeah, because that is their narrative, twins, right? So the point is Moors can't call rank on Indians. All they can do is use technology and seduce Indians into thinking that the Indians are Moors. Then when you become a Moor, then they can take over your land and they can take over your legacy. And that's when the lies start to fly really high. This is why Indians have to let go of Moors. First of all, with the history that they're claiming, they don't need you. If they're the big dog in the rest of the world, well, go back to that. Indians, you don't need to be giving them any more of what they already have. They are greedy. Your Moor is a greedy little cretin that you need to send back home like everybody else does once they see what these bastards are doing. Even there now, you could basically say Spain is a child of the Moors, yo. Your own child kicked you out. We're not your child. That's why you can't claim no kind of dominion over Indians. Even in your constitution, you are basically saying we had our own government, right? Right, Moors? In your little constitution that you infiltrated the Iroquois Confederacy and they gave them writing so they could write this. You could say that they wrote this crap. They probably don't even know what the hell they wrote. And so now that's how you get into our system. You find some Indians you can penetrate, and then you give them your story. And they talking about coming with this crazy crap that Amun Chavez is coming up with, that he's got lineage in Mali. No. Your daddy does. and he done knock your mama over the head. She standing there with a dementia. And so now she telling you the same crap he's telling you. You ain't no freaking Malian African. You were here before they existed. That's what Moors are doing, y'all. They're trying to get rid of anything that came before them so they can continue lying about Africa. And then you have, again, someone like Abu. Now, I'm not saying the man is not smart. He's smarter. He's as smart as he can be being fed lies, okay? How about that? That's being fair. He's using all he got, right? He's using the strength of his intelligence. But when you're being fed lies, your intelligence looks like dumbness. So here he is claiming a Mali that didn't exist when America was around. So who was first? That would be the American Indian, y'all. That would be the American Indian. That's why the Moors have to come to us nicely. And they did. Well, put you this way. They made it look good legally. How about that? Because if they could kill us, they would. They had no problem doing that. But even that was done under a lie that you were sinners. So even to kill you, they have to lie. And y'all wonder why I do not coddle their religion. I don't play with the fucking devil like that. Nah. You can't use his stories and think that they're going to assist you. All they do is a slow manipulation of your better senses, of your ancestral senses. It definitely cut you off from what your ancestors knew, because what your ancestors knew came before what the Moors are teaching. The Moors have twisted up the mysteries. And I had to come clean and clear with myself and admit that no, Osar, although I thought, you can look back at some of my older videos and not that long ago, and I was all about the Trinity of the original Trinity. I thought that, the Egyptian one is the original one. It is. But it's also a death cult. Why? Because the good king is murdered. All the good ones get murdered, y'all. Abel, murdered. Esau, stolen from, and may as well have been. He was legally murdered. See, the murder turned into a legal. It started out literal, physical. And then they turned it into a legal murder by taking your birthright away. If you don't have a birthright, you might as well be dead, because you don't exist on land. And you can't survive very long in the sea of commerce. So Indians that are still toying with the idea, well, I could still be a Christian, right? You can, but you'll never get the full understanding of your birthright. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You can't ask your ancestor to come and abide with you while you're still entertaining the very same thing that got your ancestor murdered. Yeah, we're going to go right to it, Yes, we're going to go right to it. Because y'all need to wake up. At least the ones that are listening to me. I know the other ones get a lot of BS, right? Why? Because it's all coming from the 5 civilized tribes. The whole Indian narrative, even now in the awakening, is coming from the 5 civilized tribes, Iroquois Confederacy, and the Lenni Lenape. Yeah. I had to go like toe to toe in a comment section with another Algonquin. And, he's the one, God, I never know the guy's name. I just know he wears glasses and he has an interesting accent. And the last I saw, he's studying to become an attorney. My God, an Algonquin becoming an attorney. Watch out. Well, brother, I'm an Algonquin too. And I'm telling you right now, your law don't got no jurisdiction over me. And what hurt me is that we were going back and forth, and he just he made it seem like you couldn't even expatriate from this system. He said that you can't the only way to not pay taxes is to expatriate, and you got to do that by going in person to the blah blah blah. If you didn't expatriate that way, then you didn't expatriate whatever expatriate. Here's the thing, though. That might be the case if the Constitution wasn't around. But the Constitution already said I'm a separate government. I shouldn't even have to expatriate because I was never supposed to be a citizen in the first place. So that's how I know he might become a lawyer, but homie don't know nothing about law. He could learn a few things from me. And yeah, I'm going to say it that way because this man is an Algonquin that he's telling me that I got to pay taxes. This was years ago, though. This is before I even did my own declaration, my public notice. So back then, this was like way early. And even then, I knew something was wrong. I just couldn't find my way to it, but the ancestors were leading me. And the way is really simple. It starts in the Constitution. From there, the Indian can carve out his own thing because it would be kind of like Indians are walking around saying that we can't do that because the government be mad. And they go, come for it. They better not come for you because it'll be unconstitutional if they do. And they can't sick an army on you. I'm sorry. There's no legal backing, especially since the Pope repudiated the doctrine of discovery. Literally, this corporation is like it's on the thinnest ice that it could possibly be on. It's amazing that it's still here, but it's depending on our brainwashing to keep it here. So Indians, insisting on being federal, it's because of you that the government gets to stay here because you're claiming their authority. A lot of Indians are not going to do that, and you're going to be a minority. Their people are already a minority. They need you now, Indians, to keep them here. And you will never get your land back as long as they're here. Because what? You're giving them the authority. You're giving them authority just by you insisting that you need to be dominated by them. Talking about you're not giving up your United States citizenship. Never constitutionally, you were never supposed to have a citizenship. So even you, those Indians that want to keep their quote unquote citizenship, you're going against the Constitution. Because now you're asking to be represented in Congress. Why would you need that Congress gonna play it cool? Oh no, you're separate. You're not part of us. Yes, you are. If you are federally recognized, you're getting that means you want your colonizer to give you your props. You had your props before the colonizer came here. That's why he came here looking to do commerce, not to dominate, but he used commerce to dominate you. So look, this is the future, y'all. The future is Indians slowly waking up and realizing, wow, they never had jurisdiction over me, yet they've been beating me the worst. Well, that's why. That's why they were beating you the worst. That's why you were getting it good, and your shit was all over the TV because they're getting people to get used to seeing you get shot by police and choked out by police. That's the look they want for India, because they know that they don't have any jurisdiction over you. Hmm? Now I walk around with my feather all the time in public. I'm starting to realize that the cops must know what that means. Because when I tell you, they just don't bother me. They never did, but now I feel like they don't even try. Well, they should. They don't have jurisdiction. They can't stop me. Stop and frisk when Trump gets that popping again. That ain't going to happen to me. Isn't he giving them indemnity or whatever? I thought I heard that he going. Maybe I heard wrong. I could be wrong about that. But he's still pulling in a police state, basically. If he is having them indemnify, yeah, they're like they don't have to worry about getting sued, y'all. And that was the only thing you could do with them because they wasn't going to jail. So now that you can't sue them, They don't have to pay those legal fees. Indians will have some Indians, certain Indians that every video they do is talking about Trump. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're defending that he's indemnifying the police. They're reworking that in their mind to say that that's ain't nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, it's sad because you see a channel pop up on YouTube, and the brother really brought some good information, but it slowly becomes a platform that it's just like a fan club for Trump. And I'm like, well, do you ever talk about Indian business anymore? I mean, you weren't still trying to be an Indian or standing on business, but at least it sounded like you did before. Now it's just everything is a world according to Trump. And then you see that that's what this is all about. They're trying to get us to adopt the Moors Republic because they're on their way out. Now they got to regroup. Now the Republic never did shit for Indians, right? But all of a sudden, Indians are all about the Republic. That's the five civilized tribes, y'all. This is where this is all originating. The Iroquois, the five civilized tribes, the Lenni Lenape, with the brother trying to be a lawyer. Oh God. And he's there telling me that he I would have to look it up because I'm here. I was insisting that on what the Constitution says. India's not that. And he kept coming up with some BS that if everybody has to pay tax. Blah, 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 blah. If you don't want to pay taxes, that means you have to expatriate. Then you'll become a ward of the state. See, that's where like they're trying to say, if you're not in the system, the government can come for you. And I'm here to tell big new public announcement. The government cannot come for Indians, y'all. Why? Well, the Constitution is pointing to the fact that we were here before they got here. They don't have jurisdiction. It's really common sense, but we're so always being fear-mongered that we're scared to take our standing. It's like you trying to walk over to what belongs to you, and every time you walk, the government go boom, and you jump back. And then you see that he has a gun because he's going to be law enforcement. And so you're scared to walk into your land and own it. But I'm trying to tell you that boogeyman with that gun, he has no legal authority to even, has no legal authority over you, point blank, period. Point blank, period. They knew Indians had a government. We had our own system. And it was very effective because that's why they had to go around the Algonquins and find the matriarchy, the Iroquois Confederacy, who apparently didn't know how to write at some point. They just said writing. They didn't get writing until colonizers arrived. I did find where they're trying to say the same thing about Algonquins, but that's a lie. They must be talking about the Cherokee that became Iroquois, that they got writing when the colonizer came, because they can't do Algonquin anymore. They got to come up with something. And it's not easy to just invent a language, right? So they got help from Europe, the Moors, because they had a language now. I'm not saying we Indians didn't have one, but you had to give it up for colonization. We gave up more than our religion, y'all, to entertain this BS. So, yeah. These newer Indians are very new. We looked at some of the dates in the last video, how long Algonquins were here versus how long Muskogean was here as a linguistic language, and Iroquois. So what the Cherokee did was, evidently, they got a language from the Moors that they passed on to the Iroquois, because those Iroquois, why is that? Because Iroquois was still speaking Cherokee. I'm going to go out on a limb, y'all. I'm going to take some license here, some research license here, and I'm going to say the reason why they're saying that Indians didn't have a writing system, it's not that they didn't have a writing system. They had to give it up for colonization so that they can be reinvented. And then colonizers going to give them a whole history. But what he's doing, he's adding African history into the Indian history. And basically, the Indians, they don't, it's like they're not even seeing that they're being genocided. Somehow we're made to look down on our legacy. And what really is kind of pissing me off is that really it's a matriarchy entertaining a foreign patriarch. In other words, freak my male Indians. I'm going with these African dudes, and they gonna be the new patriarch. But see, they're like I mean, technically, they still have to get everything from the female to claim Indian, right? But he's really the new. He's with her constantly telling his story and his fables like a turtle island. He's getting his history is knocking out the history of the patriarch. So the new patriarchy is bringing in an African Mongolian. And it's important that we keep including the Mongolian because he is bringing Mongolia here as well. He's not just bringing Africa. Remember, the Moors say they're Asiatic black. Well, that would be correct. However, I'm an whole American Indian, period. So you could take your Asia and you could take your African and go right back to Asia and Africa. You're taking on a lot, y'all, when you entertain these fucking Moors, yo. They come with everything. Everything foreign they come with. Because the foreign is what they created. They're telling us that they brought the other races here, yo. So they try to have a camouflage to hide their nigga ass. You see? So then they could blame everything on these other races, but it's all emanating from that Negro right there, okay? Deported from this landmass. And I even hate to say it. I hate to even have any kind of connection to them. But all I got to keep doing is knowing. All I got to do is keep knowing that they've done everything against American Indians. So effectively, they are no longer American because they're promoting Africa as the first. So they're lying. So if you're lying on your own mother, or you're lying on your own father, they have to reject you because you're a little liar. Even if you did originate with them, you have turned on them. And you're willing to replace them with factions that you manufacture. That's how far you're willing to go to erase the truth. You're a liar. Just like your father. Is that how you tell it in your book? You're a liar just like your father. Who is that? Satan. The Americans, it's not that we weren't civilized. We expelled the quote unquote civilized because we saw what their goals were before any other race of people on the face of the planet. American Indians know where civilization leads. If we were a little bit less just, if we were a little less congenial, I'm going to say this, I'm going to ask the ancestors to back me on this. If we were a little less congenial, we would have killed them. If Indians were a little less congenial, the rest of the world would have never got a Moor because we would have ended him. That's why also the Moors can't really come at us with full death, because we never came to them with death. We made them leave. So as much as they're genociding us, it is unjustified. So on paper, they recognize our sovereign standing because we allowed them to live when they should have, more likely, they should have just been ending, because look what they did. They are self-interested. They're not interested in tribes. They're not interested in humanity. They're interested in raping the earth of whatever wealth that is. They don't see that all their actions show that they're a second-born people. All they're doing is showing their secondariness because of the greed levels. People who have and know they don't have to show out like a boy. From the way they dress to the way they have Indians ashamed that is the thing with me. Whatever an Indian lived in, whether it was a teepee or whatever, I know the standing that the Indian had. That's all I need to know. The Moors got a lot of Indians feeling ashamed of being associated with living in a longhouse or a teepee. Well, after we got rid of them, we had to start over. And because we got rid of everything about them. We didn't want, I believe we probably trashed their buildings ourselves. We saw what their system was doing, and I think somewhere we realized the whole thing gotta go. Just like I feel with them too. All what they brought has a religion included. It's not that Americans were not civilized. We chose, for lack of a better word, uncivilization. Because we realize that it comes with a priesthood and it comes with a nobility that just won't quit, right? Until they can bring everything on earth under their subjugation. Indians realize that that is not a way to live. We'd rather be free and working the land and doing all the heavy lifting than have some group of depraves. Everything they give you, they ask for you to pay for it. Everything they do, it's like they're looking for a payday. They're not looking to help humanity. They look at, I did this for you, now you owe me everything in the world. If that's what civilization is about, the Indians said, we don't need that. We'd rather just be as if we're like, quote unquote, savage. Because that's what they are in reality, savages. Those that we call civilized, they're just wolves in sheep's clothing, as we say, because they're savage as well. So Indians must have deduced, I might as well be a quote unquote savage because what they're doing is savage. We just doing it real. We ain't trying to fake it. These savages are trying to come off as if they're civilized. But again, they're civilized means They want one dictator from one family, basically. One, and then you got to marry into their family to even be a thing. So they're condemning all men and women to this system of playing favorites. Their religion is about favorites, but at the same time, they're stealing the birthright to even get the position that they're in. So we have Osar, the good king of ancient Egypt, that for up till now, I was even under that delusion that that was a good religion. No, no. It finally dawned on me that Osar was murdered. It finally dawned on me that's a death cult, and furthermore, it's a death cult where the good guy is dead in way early, so that you get where you're settling for the lesser of evils. So in these death cults, the good guy has to die, and then he can make a place for you in the afterlife. It's a death cult. What we need is a religion where the good guy doesn't die. How about that? No, not one where he dies and come back. No. See, because that's what we're doing as well. That becomes our life. The Indian has been dead in America, but now we're coming back. We're awakening. We by signing on to that religion, we co-signed on being dead and then having to wait way late in the game to wake up again and quote unquote resurrect. No. Note to self, Indian. Whatever religion you have, make sure your hero don't die. If anything, the bad guy needs to die, because look what happens when he stays around. See, we let him stay around. That's what the Indians did. We allowed these Moors. See, we are truly what they would say were humanitarian, right? Well, now, that word has been, kind of not the best word, but but look what it did. Look what it did. And I think the ironic thing is the Moors know that if you want to keep the lie going to as long as you got to kill them. So they have no problem. They know. They say, what? You're not going to kill me? Oh, good. Because I'm definitely going to do everything short of killing you. But then when the chips are down and I got you brainwashed enough, I'm going to kill you because you're already dead. You don't know you're an Indian at all, so you can die because there's nothing in your body that's operating as an Indian. So you're already dead. So that's when they get to kill us, y'all. When they see that we have fully indoctrinated, where it don't even matter. Your spirit won't even come back because your spirit is all, it's just all programmed, all indoctrinated. So then your spirit stayed up. Or you figure it out, but it's too late. The answers come and tell you like, oh man, they got me. Yep, they sure did. Don't be so easy next time. So it's like they say, so Heru, you saying that we should have killed the Moors? I can tell you this. I'll use their words. If you live by the sword, and you guys know the rest. They have a sword in their religion has a sword in it, right? Whenever you see that little Moorish symbol, sometimes that moon can be a sword, right? From what I understand, and from what I think I witnessed. They're living by a sword. So it's not Indians killing them, it's them entertaining death, and then they have to die by that sword. They're the ones that are living by the sword, y'all. They have that thing with Abraham Lincoln swinging a sword or whatever.
And again, a sword is very much inlaid into the Moorish symbolism, the sword. So this is what they need to be. Indians don't need a sword. They just need their birthright and they need to stay connected to their ancestors. But the Moors, the sword is also them cutting themselves off. Now that might be what they really meant by the sword. They're cutting them away from the ancestors. They say, no, we don't like your setup. We're gonna cut off and then we're gonna cut everybody else off. So that's probably more so what their sword really is about. You know, they have all kinds of justifications and, you know, for why that sword is in there. They'll say, oh, it's God cutting the sinners off of it. No, God gave us years on earth because we're supposed to learn, not to be killed. We're supposed to grow in grace. We're supposed to err away from the sword. But when you're doing wrong, you got to live by the sword. So here, Heru done started preaching again. And if y'all start calling me Pastor Heru, I'm telling you, I'm going to run for the hills. I think that's all we want to share for today. And it'll be a fairly short video, but it's something, one of those things I just had to, it was in, you know, sitting in my mind. There's a gray area where these Moors went to after they got expelled from Spain. Now we know, wow, that they morphed into King James? And that's how they got here? Because, you know, I don't know. Well, that they were still in Spain when King James got here. Apparently, again, from 1609. Now we saw that King James got here in 1606. So the Moors were still in Spain when King James got here. And I just think that that's something that we're not always being made aware of. So there's an overlap. But we got to factor in that once, whatever they do, they recognize the British. After the British take over, it is Morocco that, quote unquote, recognizes this beast as a nation. So even if they had, you know, nothing to do with King James getting here, which I just think he was like a cousin to them, he was definitely related, because that's all of nobility is coming from these Moors. They're the ones making things noble outside of America. Okay, because we were nobility here. The dynasty started here. So the Moors once we kicked the dynasty out, they had to make dynasties out of other people so they can bring them up against Indians. So look, here's what we're gonna do. I just realized why I can't advocate death for these MFs. Because the idea is, we just don't want them to come back around, right? What would we advocate? We advocate them staying the hell out of our land. That's what we advocate. So I'm going to take a pause because I got a call coming in. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to pause, and then we're going to close out. Okay, we're back. That was actually my auntie, and she's listening to public radio, and she wanted to tell me that they're talking about Indians, King Philip or something. And she's just enlightening herself because, you know, she knows that I am interested in all things American Indian. So that's nice. That's really nice. You know, my auntie, um, let's just say she's very religiously indoctrinated. And hard as I try to change that, she might be too far gone, you know, and but she does hear what I have to say, and as I just said, she will call me. So she's there, but you know, when something is really deeply embedded in you, it's that's why you really have to be careful with this religion. You really don't want anything that the Moors bring, because it's somewhere in there you're going to be called into question. Like my aunt is very much with that sin thing. And you know, this is something you got to realize where it's coming from. Anything that I did wrong or whatever, that's between me and my creator. It's not something that a Moor can has even they really have some nerve to try to speak for the Most High when their deeds are showing and giving Satan. Okay, so then you have to really be serious when you ask yourself, who are they really serving? Do they know? Do they know the energy that they're serving? Do they really know? Because I think the many of the membership do not know. Now the leadership, the priesthood, they know exactly what time it is. Um, when Akhenaten, I said this before, when Akhenaten was expelled, he wasn't just expelled. They literally broke everything that all of his temples, his name was blotted out. If they wrote his name in stone, they broke the stone, yo. So when Indians get rid of a thing, they don't half step, Indians. So you half steppers, you're always going to be looked at side eye because you cannot be trusted. Talking about a turtle when you have the most one of the most wealthiest land masses on the face of the earth, and you want to be on a turtle. How do you disrespect that wealth? You think a turtle has oil in under his skin? Does a turtle have diamonds in his skin, gold and all of that? So you on a turtle for real though? You want to analogize this good green earth that your ancestors live in, you put them inside of a turtle's yucky, nasty body? I know because I broke a turtle's back. Yes, I did. And now that I told you all this story, when I was a child, I killed a turtle. And now I know that was a metaphor for what I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So there's no more guilt about it. That was that was that was how the ancestors were showing me what I would be doing as an adult. I am breaking the turtle's back. Why? Because that turtle is coming up against my ancestors who did not believe in a turtle. You won't even find that in ancient Tamari. Nope. So this turtle is a new thing that's only gotten a life since Asians have been on in Asia, because that turtle it's a Mongolian. It's coming from an Asiatic part of the world, and Indians want to ignore it. Go ahead. You're only ignoring your own damn legacy. You ain't doing nothing to me. You're doing it to yourself. You do not live on a turtle. Big newsflash. Big newsflash. A turtle is not connected to the land. Your Moors don't want you connected to land. They want you in the sea, like a turtle would be. So that they can take your place on the land. Gotta break these spells, y'all. When you break the spells in the spirit world, then it becomes a lot more easier in the physical world to get what is yours. Breaking the spells might be the most important thing. It is only after those spells are broken that you can get physical. And then you won't have to work so damn hard. Break the spells. Get out of the religion. God is going to love you no less than Jesus, or probably more than Jesus. Yeah, I said it. I'm breaking spells, y'all, like I broke a back. I broke a turtle's back. And it was a real, from what I recall, it looked like it was green. And I don't recall blood. I don't, for some reason, I'm recalling like it was something that I didn't expect when I broke that back. I don't know why I'm recalling green stuff. I don't know why. I mean, there might have been some blood, but as a child, I think I was just in my child mind. I think I was just fascinated that something, a living thing, could have something like that, on it. Like really, like literally a shell. So I thought maybe it must be a very strong shell. I don't know, but I didn't think it would actually break. I didn't know what was going to happen. I figured it must be strong enough because it didn't. But I found out the hard way that the shells have the breaking point. They sure do. And there was no way he could live. I think I might have thought he wasn't attached to the shell and he just was in it. But if I break the shell, he's going to have to come out. That's not exactly what happened. It's a from a child's point of view, because I was very much a child. And I will keep saying that. That's why, it's not as nefarious as it seems, because I didn't know what would happen. I ain't never killed before. From what I would know, I don't, I didn't think he was going to kill. I didn't think he was going to die. But yeah, it's just, I realized, I think that was the ancestors showing me that this is what you're going to be doing. They're saying you're an Indian, and somewhere in the world it's being said that you live on a turtle. Now you just saw the strength of a turtle, right? In my psyche, it's not a stable place, So that's what's been in my psyche, that a turtle, the back of a turtle, it can't. If my thumb could do that, can you imagine what billions of people's on a turtle? Well, they're saying it's so big. The turtle is so big. It still can't take weight of just the whole world. Well, they're going to say, yes, it can, because he's big. No, remember, you wanted him to grow. He was not big. He's growing. He's a magical turtle. I really don't even know why it's a Moorish thing. I'll never know why. It's to get you off the land. Okay, cut to the chase. It's just to get you off the land. Point blank period. Tell them they're in a turtle so we can take the land. And also a turtle is a sea creature and we want them in the sea. So it's a spell to put you in the sea. It's a mind spell to put you in a sea frame of mind so you could concede to a sea jurisdiction instead of calling on law of the land. You are the law of the land as an Indian. But if you get a Moor to put you on a turtle, now you're in his jurisdiction. You're going to give a little wisdom to these civilized. See, when you civilize, you come up with stupidity like this. Civilization don't know nothing about spirit. So you so civilized that you living on a turtle's back. I would think it's more civilized to live on land. But because you're so indoctrinated and civilized, you just accept this foolishness. So, yeah, we had stopped the screen share before, and I think we're going to do it again. Yeah, I don't think I have. Okay, let's while we're here, let's see. I'm going to make it a long video. I know. To find, if you ever want to go, because I thought, is this another fake document that you can't find on the Vatican website? Like when I looked for the civil orders, I never found it on the Vatican website. I never saw it, but the Pope didn't write it. It was Anna von Wright. She wrote it to the Pope, apparently. If you ever see the civil orders, and you'll see that Anna von Wright signed it. So I said to myself, I don't want to fall into that kind of trap again. Let me find the repudiation of the doctrine of discovery on the actual Vatican website. So it's a little tricky, but here's where you want to be. So this is the main page of the Vatican website. So what do? You go to, oh boy, I done forgot, but I have a copy here. Let's see, where did I go? Why can't I remember? Okay, here's where it is. Let's see. Oh, oh, that's not what she said. Okay. Okay, so let's follow the trail. So let's go back. To find the repudiation of the doctrine of discovery that you will need when you start getting serious and sending out your declaration as an American Indian who is not under federal jurisdiction and an Indian not taxed. Before you get your land, you have to become an Indian not taxed again, y'all. So otherwise, you're going to be buying. See, as an Indian not taxed, you're entitled to your land back because you were always supposed to have it. Okay, so we're tracing back how we got to the document because I seem to not remember. So we were here. It's the Roman Curia. So let's go back. Okay, so when you're here, which is where we were over here, you've got to go to the Roman Curia. Where's that at? They take it off? No, they didn't. Here it is. It's kind of hidden, you see? So you go to the Holy See website, right? I think we can give Pope Francis some credit. I mean, did he have to repudiate the doctrine of discovery? He could have kept the fraud going, I do believe. See, that's why I know our ancestors are powerful, yo. Why would he feel the need to repudiate the doctrine of something is happening, y'all? And if you get in line with it, it will happen that much quicker. But you got to stop being civilized. You got to stop thinking your destiny is a 501c3. No, it's not. No, it's not. No matter how big and bad you talk, that is the weakest position you can be in as an Indian, to be a 501c3. Even if you're tough and you could beat people's ass and I could kick your ass, and I could fight all the girls and I could beat everybody up and whatever. You know, the tough ladies that beat up, you know, that's cool. But that is the weakest. If you want to match your strength, you better get your birthright. You better get yourself on your birthright and start batting for real Indian jurisdiction. Because this thing is weakening all that power you got. So you know what? We just gotta, you know, give him his props. He repudiated this beast. I still would not be Catholic, but you know, I could recognize when something right was done, you know. So you go to this website and you see, hey, how you doing? She was like, say, how you doing? He said, I'm cool. I can put my picture up now, right? Yeah, we're gonna let you do it. You can do that. You can do that. All right now. We want to see who did this. All right. I still ain't gonna be Catholic, but you know. So here, the Roman Curia is here. So once you get there, then you have to go to the dicastery. Maybe this thing is hidden, yo. You got to find the dicastery of culture and education, because you got to get that what do you call it? The re-education from the miseducation, right? Ooh, I did not. All right, in that. So anyway, the dicastery for culture and education. I was just looking at the two brothers over there, like, what are you two brothers doing over here, though? The Christian unity. All right, in that. The dicastery for culture and education. Let's go. Let's see what's going on. So then you get there. Well, this is a long and winding road, y'all. Documents. And I believe it's here where we find, here it is. It was March 30 of 2023. And although it doesn't say, it doesn't outwardly, it says document discovery. Okay. Human development on, see, they could have just said repudiating the doctrine of discovery, but they got to address it. The joint statement of the dicasteries for culture and education and for promoting integral human development on the doctrine of discovery, human development on that doctrine of discovery. They got it in English, French, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, all the colonizers' languages, right? So now they all been on notice in their language that it's repudiated. So let's open it on up now. Come on. And there you go. Now this looks different from the one I found. And I think that is the number of this doctrine, this document, I mean. BO238. I believe that's the name, the number of this. Now it's different than the one I had, but it's the same wording. But I wish I sent this version. Oh yeah, but it has all the languages, right? The first one is English. So maybe I didn't want, let's see. This is original. Okay, so they saying the original is in English. Okay, so we got now just, no, it still has the Spanish. Okay, so this is just a rolling page here with all the languages. They just put it all on one page. So this is probably why I didn't need to get it from here, because then I would have it in all languages. But maybe I should have sent it to the Department of Finance in all languages that they have available. They have it in Española. In Española. See? The papas. Los papas. It didn't no good. The papacito don't do this no more. Okay. So, yeah, that's the Spanish. So tell the world that Indians, you got to stand on your land again because the legal footing that this bullshit was on has been denounced, repudiated. Indians can get their land back. I think, to be honest with you, I think this is the document that we use to get our land back. Like, uh, this is the premier document to reclaim your land. Now, when we start writing to the Department of Land, whatever, or whatever, who's ever the office, the ancestors are speaking, y'all, because I did not go there until just now talking to you. So I'm hearing the ancestors say that this is the document that you sent to your land patent offices. So y'all getting a early Christmas gift from the ancestors. I know they were gonna say this today. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandma Gooding. Thank you, Grandma. Um, Grandma Green. That's my father. Grandma Green. Thank you, Grandma Green. That's her maiden name. Thank you, grandfather. I forgot my great grandfather's name. Gotta go find. I thank you for speaking to me because uh, I think we're just being told how to get our land back, Indians. And I think this is the document that does it because let's go here, number 6, where uh where is it? Is it 9? No, here. So here, Christians are by no means to be Indians and all other people who may later be discovered by Christians are by no means, the Indians, y'all, are by no means to be deprived of their liberty. Now, we're going to call it freedom because we don't get liberty from our colonizers. We get freedom from God. So that's the thing here. Now we're getting our land back, but we gotta look at these words, and they're gonna get us our land back, but we have to be clear. We're not getting liberty. We're getting our God-given birthright. But it said, Indians and all other people who may later be discovered by Christians are by no means to be deprived of their freedom or the possession of their, we're going to say land, y'all. They call it property, but they know it's land, okay? But even this is, so this is stronger than a land pact, y'all. What part of America did Indians own? All of America. But for Algonquins, it's particularly important that you get your land back because you have been removed entirely from the Eastern Woodland area because you were the patriarchy that held it down before the matriarchy got influenced by Moors. So you're gonna have to forgive your sister if she comes to realize that it was all a huge mistake, and that Negro lied to me, like a lot of Negroes be doing anyway, right? Sis? So it should be very easy for you to let this BS go for a greater good for your babies. Okay, forget the Negro. How about your baby? So I appeal to the sisters, the matriarch. We got to do this, y'all. Come on now. Now your Cherokee, y'all was alcoholic. So stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. You the one that gave the Iroquois the language. And look what they did. Look what they did. You get them right. Look what they done did. All y'all was influenced by Moors, y'all. And it's very evident that that's what's going on because y'all go to Moors for legal guidance. On that. You know I'm talking facts. And where are they leading you? Into the courts. You don't go to their courts. Now, even the Moors knew that they had a separate court from this system when they called the court of, what do they call their court? Oh, gosh. There's a word they use. The consular court. That's the court that the Moors set up, that they didn't have no business in. But even they knew that they had to have a separate court for these Moors at one point, for the real ones, before they got married, and became Indian. They had a consular court. So why would they tell you, Indians, to go to the foreigner's court when even they know that they had a separate court called the consular court in 1856? So they didn't go to the Supreme Court, right? Let's see when was the Supreme Court established? Okay, because the consular court. Let me see. Okay. The Supreme Court was established March 4th, 1789. The original Moors had a separate court, according to what Amun Chavez. Oh God. Oh boy. Did we shorten his name in one of these videos? I done forgot. Amun Hotep. Amun Hotep said that they had a consular court. Why didn't they go to the Supreme Court that was established in 1789 when they went to a consular court that they had in 1856? They said their court got dissolved when we took civil rights. They're talking about themselves, y'all. Indians were never supposed to be part of this. That's how I know we didn't build a republic. We're not part of this system, y'all. So what am I saying? I'm saying that the Moors, according to Amun Hotep, who is part of the 5 civilized tribes and now claims Somalia as being ancestor of Somalia. These are half-breed Indians, y'all, African and at best, because they're claiming Somalia, like Amun Hotep is. He is not a full-blood Indian, because he's claiming Africa. Somalia and all that came after America, y'all. Why would you claim the thing that came after America? Wouldn't you want your first birthright? But when you get indoctrinated by Moors, that's what you end up doing. You got to go secondary like they are. They ain't going to allow you to be first when they're secondary. Are y'all ready to give up this Moorish crap? I'm tired of talking about it. But I've given you so much now to kick that ass to the curb. So Amun Hotep told us that they had a court for quote unquote Negroes, right? And because they were, how'd they put it? The point is they knew that they were not part of this. They had an idea that you don't go in the court. See, I think the Moors were trying to be us, so they would create courts under our birthright. So the consular court was here as a result of Indians getting together with Moors, right? So the Moors doing all the legal talk for the Indian, because he's the freaking legal expert, and the Indian woman is just saying, your baby is coming. So he's there writing all the laws, and she's giving birth to his babies, right? And that's how they get us with the birth certificate. Your mother just pushed you out, and now they come up with paperwork, and she barely conscious. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, it's the more doing all the legal work, y'all. But I'm realizing the only way he can set up a consular court is if he's somehow using his Indian footing, because he don't have a footing to the court by being married to an Indian. But he knew that the Indian had a separate jurisdiction, so he tried to make one, but his is foreign too. That's why Indians have a right to set up court. Anyway, look, listen, you don't have to have a fancy building. You don't have to have any protocol. What you need is to stand on your birthright and know how to say that. How do you say it? If you could hold court, what, in your basement, yo. You could hold court in your local community center, yo. It's Indian, as long as it's Indian, right? And you want a good number, but you only need what, 2 witnesses, really? So say now you got a court, with 3 Indians, 2 or 3 Indians, and you calling the court because you have the jurisdiction. I know it's gonna look weird, y'all. So you're gonna say, this is not a court. This is like you playing lawyer. It's very real. It's as serious as I don't know what. When an Indian holds court, that shit has legal basis, y'all. Because you are the law of the land. In fact, you're the only law of the land. So if you have a right standing on with that constitution, you have a right to call court. And if the people that you were in commerce with broke that contract, you have a right to call them into your court and say the contract is over. Now, I was a sovereign when we signed this document, right? So I'm still that. That means I have a domination over you. The only reason why you were here was because of the doctrine of discovery. And I have evidence right here in exhibit number 1 that has been repudiated by your leader, the Pope. So now the court falls in my court, where it always was supposed to be. You are guilty of not only breaking the contract, but misclassifying me. What is the judgment? The judgment is you give me my land. If you don't give me my land, you begin to pay me in very nicely. Whatever your corporation is worth, I'm fitting to get at least 50%, if not 60. So you got a multi-billion Amazon on my land, and you think I'm supposed to sit here and count pennies? Indians, it's time to get serious. Okay, you're hearing it from one Indian, but you know it's resonating in your bones, don't you? I can feel it. I'm a Cancer. Somebody got to get cracking. Because when you do, the 5 civilized tribes are going to be a thing of the past until they get right with their birthright. Iroquois Confederacy? We named you Iroquois Confederacy. Technically, Algonquins already have authority over you. Cherokee is just one of us who gave you a writing system. Once we get Cherokee back, you're back to Dumbo land. And you're going to have to expel them Moors amongst you back to Morocco. Not the one in Indiana. And then they're going to have to do real business with real Indians. They never respected our position, y'all. They were too busy trying to be us. And they were only doing that to take what belonged to us, not because they were respecting us. It is time to get real with Moors, y'all. Keep boo loving on them. The more you do that, the longer it takes for your ancestors to grab their land back. Do you want to be against your own ancestors again? In the awakening, no less? Think about it, Indians. Do you want that kind of smoke? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Cherokee, it's time to come home. You are the leader of the 5 civilized tribes, basically. Why are you in the 5 civilized tribes? That's how we know you're the leader. That's how we know you're the leader. What tribes band together with people that don't speak their language? Why are you there, Cherokee? You don't belong there because you don't speak their language, but you're there as the leader because you're Algonquin. You're Algonquins who were infiltrated by Moors. Is the best I can do with what I know. Once the Cherokee pulls out, they needed you, Cherokee. They have to have one Indian that's like an Algonquin gone wild. Muskogee, we found out, is the youngest language of the 3 languages. So they needed you, Cherokee. They need to legitimize them. They're the youngest. The youngest to be fooled by the Moors. They talk about they are Hebrew. There ain't no Hebrew. That's something the Moors invented for you. So the ancestors are telling me that this is the document that gets you your land back, because he's saying, the Pope said that we by no means to be deprived of the possession of our property. Okay, so then give it back. But call it land, because that's what it is. Outside of your jurisdiction, we just call it land, ancestral land. Even though they be outside the Christian faith. So now you don't have to be Christians. And they may and should freely and legitimately enjoy their freedom and possession of their land. Property is another word for land, okay? But I think it's a commerce, which we got to watch out for commerce, because commerce tends to change the meaning of things. Article 8 of the repudiation of the doctrine of discovery as an indictment for those who took your land. When we go to the Department of Land, that might be what I do next, y'all. Because just like, I said this before, Anna was one woman, and she made herself the fiduciary for all state citizens to reclaim their state citizenship and get rid of their federal citizenship. So those are the evils. The one is lesser of the two. I think the state is the lesser evil. than of the federal. But this is on, see, this is on the Vatican website, y'all, and it's not going to be leave. It's part of their whole everything. As far as I know, this is going to be up. This is going to be on the website forever, y'all, because he's repudiating the doctrine of discovery. It's null and void, y'all. Even if he took it down, he already signed off on this, y'all. What are we waiting for? So here's how it's going to go down again. They won't be able to leave overnight, so they just owe you. You don't even need reparations with what they're going to pay you for rent. But the right thing is for us to get reparations. So what we have highlight, well, we might as well do the rest of it because we're not supposed to be enslaved, right? So that means all the shenanigans, even after you give me my land back, those little tactics that you use, making me a citizen so I could be a debt slave, you can't enslave me. Should the contrary happen, it shall be what? Null and have no effect. Ooh. Yo, Pope Francis, I'm telling you, he pulled the plug, y'all. They're surviving on a defibrillator. And all we got to do is just stop defibrillating. Don't say clear. Just say clear your ass out of here. That's what you're supposed to say clear about. You ain't supposed to be trying to make this beast live. So anything that is taking our land from us is null and void. Do you need land patents? As I told you before I even read this, you don't need land patents, y'all. Get yourself a linguistic map and let's start with that. Okay? Let's start with the linguistic map. Whatever that your tribe is, that is all your land. Whoever is on that land that's not an Indian owes you rent. You're gonna have to set up some kind of collection agency, y'all. And you're not going to hoard that whatever you receive. First of all, it's still colonizer dollars. This is just a transfer, y'all. This is not permanent. This is not, we're gonna keep using their money because it's theirs. They already got their stamp all over it. They got Washington and Lincoln and all. We don't do that. It's an affront to your ancestors. So, but while they're here, this is what's going to start the death process. Bleeding of the money. They're going to have to be paid. So it's no longer profitable. So when they got into a contract with us, we both were supposed to profit, if anything. The foreign colonizer, of course, that's what he came here for. And you Indians were supposed to get paid for him prospering. So now we see where this led to. He loses on both. He doesn't get a profit and he loses what he had with the reparations. Indians, this is your future. Take it or leave it. This is it. Anything else, now you're going against not only the Constitution, but you're actually going against the Vatican. At this point, who has the balls or the ovaries to stand up? What are you waiting for? You're still being robbed. What the Republican Party is going to do is going to, like they always do, mimic your birthright. It's a mimic, though. It's not the real thing, y'all. You did not create the Republic because you wasn't supposed to be part of any of this. It was just a commercial transaction, and you were supposed to benefit. You were supposed to profit so that you could. They didn't want you to look what they did to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and tell me that they intended for you to. Now you were prospering even in the midst of this bullshit, right? And what did they do to you in the midst of this bullshit? Tulsa, Oklahoma is it's almost like an anomaly because that's not the profit you were supposed to have. You're supposed to have more than that. Doing business with this beast, you're supposed to have more than that because they were supposed to be paying. In other words, the states you were doing commerce with the states. The states, what are they going to do? Take it, or what are they supposed to pay you for it? They were supposed to pay you for it. Then this beast, the federal, decided that they're going to take all of that and call it tax. This is done, y'all. I don't care what the most popular Indian YouTube videos out there are saying right at this point, because number one, all they're talking about is Trump. That ain't gonna get you your land back. Trump ain't trying to give you your land back. He has to pay you. He's a billionaire with what is that? Them hotels, the profit he gets from the hotels, and you sitting on your thumbs. So is is it in his best interest to give Indians their land back? Not really. He don't know what you're gonna charge. He know what the federal gonna charge. He don't know your prices, Indian. Y'all better get cracking. There's a document right in front of you to take your land back. That's right there. Your land right. Get yourself a linguistic map and look at all the land that your tribes had. And all of that is yours. All you gotta do is organize a make-do tribe to collect what's coming to your people. But when you get it, you're gonna have to now is when the work of getting our people off these freaking streets and sidewalks. You're going to have enough to cover all of that. All of that. So, no, there will be no more Indians homeless and hungry. Well, I don't know. Our ancestors are so good to us. I don't think we go hungry. In fact, I think we could go a few days without some meals. In my case, I know. It's just the reality. But that don't mean I'm giving up my land. Oh, no. I'm just saying I could have a diet or two here and there. So Indians, you're looking at how you get your land back. Throw away them land patents. Get yourself a linguistic map and get this document in your hand. Print it out. I showed you where it is, where it lives. We followed it. We went from here. Let's see. Okay, so you go to here. I watched the Vatican pull this down because I'm just nah. He already said it, y'all. It's a done deal, even if he takes it. But to find this document, go to www.vatican.va /content. Wait a minute, which is the whole page? Leave the whole page because it's supposed to be .com. Period. Now I don't know how to get to the home page of the Vatican. Okay, I thought this was the home page. It's HTML. Oh, because they're not doing business? It's HTML. It's not a .com. This is the home. I think this is the home page, y'all. Because when you click on that little thing here, it takes you to the home page. Watch. See? So, okay, so this is the home page. All right, then. So once you're on the home page, you got to scroll. You say, hi, Pope. Hi, Mr. Francis. Hi, Francis. Okay. So then you go down to the Roman Curia because we're in a Roman Curia. So you click on the Roman Curia and then you get past all this, right? You go down to the dicastery for culture and education. And you click on that because it looks like the White House or something. And that's the Pope right there. See? That's the back of his head right there. See, you didn't want to look at the camera for this one, but it looks like they're not showing his face in most of these. You got the hands over there. You got some drawings of him over there. You got skip to Malou over there. He's not even in there. And they got some brother love over here. Some old ass brother love, right? That must be Jacob and Esau. I don't know. And then we got some black and white hands, the African, and then the
The African is like, oh, do you have to do it? Say, yes, my nigga. Yes, my nigga, I have to do this. It must be done. But please, Pope, please. Can't you please stay and steal from our brother in America? I can't do that anymore. The real God told me that can't do that no more. Okay. 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 Okay, so the Decastery for culture. So you gotta go through all of these, right? That's a lot, yo. But we don't got no time for that. We only concerned about what our land, right? So we gotta go to the culture and education. Okay, so we go to the Castery for culture and education, and then we go to documents. And then it's the second document right here. Okay, so there's where you find it. Please print it out. And Indians, so Indians are saying, well, what is going to do? What you got? This is where you're going to start getting some income, what they call income, some rent for the use of your ancient ancestral land. The Pope is okay with it. Okay, he's all right. He already rich. He already got what he needed. He good over there. In other words, from this point on, actually from 2023, Indians have to get compensated for what was stolen. Now, the land is always ours, always. So whoever is here that's not an American Indian or a Negro, which American Indians were misclassified. Remember, real Indians have to be misclassified because they're the ones that hold the birthright, okay? Native Americans appeared. They weren't misclassified. Native Americans were invented, just like Negroes and coloreds were. So they're not the birthright Indians, okay? They never got genocided. Again, you have the legal question, why do Indians have to be genocided, whereas Native Americans don't? In fact, Native Americans, they're creating legislation with them. Us, we're disappeared. We Black now. We get the Black code, and we're not protected by this system. Native Americans, they just there to make it look good, like the government care a little bit. Blacks, they didn't care for at all. Not at all. You don't see Native American getting shot by police, do you? Choked out by police. They would never really show that, right? They don't like showing a certain races of people meeting their death, right? But when it comes to real Indians, this is the death cult. So we're the sacrificial lamb that everybody has to see the lamb getting slaughtered so you can take what belongs to the land, right? The other ones there, but when you show that Negro, that Indian, I should say, because that's a misnomer, right? Calling myself a Negro ain't cool, right? When you see that Indian getting choked out, or the image of an Indian, now he could be a Negro, but they use his image because they know the Indians way like, oh. So when you see the image of an Indian getting choked out, that's the sacrificial lamb, y'all. That's what being a Christian gets you. So you see that subliminally and subconsciously, that's your Christ. And so part of you have to be okay with him getting slaughtered as a Christian. Now, you're the one that's losing. Everybody else is gaining but you've been programmed into a death cult. So you see George Floyd being choked out, very public, until he dies, all caught on camera. That is the sacrificial lamb, or the image
of a sacrificial lamb because he looks like you, Indian, but he probably ain't even Indian, some shit, or he's of the 5 civilized tribes. So that's the sacrifice is done, and now we have to feed that demon. That demon requires somebody die. So you sacrificing, hoping that the demon can keep you here, let you stay here. But the ancestors are stronger than that. So even though he sacrificed George Floyd very publicly, it's still not enough for them to stay here. Now, when did George Floyd get sacrificed? Let me look. When did that sacrificial ritual take place again? I just want to see, was it before the repudiation? George Floyd. It was, y'all. It was, because it was in 2020. Let me see. Murder. I guess I can. George, they don't like when I say George Floyd murder. Okay. What else could be? Oh, let's. NPR does have it. They say the murder of George Floyd. That's M as in Monday. PR. NPR News said the murder of George Floyd. So let's see what they say. I'm doing this on my phone, y'all. He was murdered, sacrificially murdered, May 25th of 2020. So that was before the doctrine of discovery was repudiated. So maybe that was a last ditch effort to do a very public sacrifice. So hopefully that the demons would say, we can take their land for a little bit longer. But Pope got word, nope, that wasn't good enough. The demon is not appeased because he requires more, and we can't be killing these Negroes like that every day now. We gotta have a little space in between. So after that last sacrifice, but that sort of gave way to the other genocide and as an Indian, we can speak this freely now because it was a genocide on our land because we were being forced. And that was also a tag. So from here on in, they did tag you with whatever was in that vaccine. But we're going to have to talk about that once we get, establish our footing again, because we're going to have to get to the truth, because there's a lot of lies surrounding the vaccine. Okay, so we are editing this portion of the video. So at the 2:06:55 mark, that's where YouTube has said that we violated their rules. Okay, so we're going to pass 2:55. It's coming up now, and then we shall start playing. I guess now is okay at the 2:06:55 mark has passed. Well, we're not all tagged in an attempt to pull jurisdiction over your body by putting copywritten or patented material into your body that pretty much stays there unless you go through some very special magnetic procedures, is what Anna used to say. Said that you need like magnets to get this stuff out of your body. It is somewhat possible, But the thing is, once it's been found out that is okay, so let's try to avoid getting our whole video taken down for a little part. Okay, so let's go back. It say everything that does that is null and void, right? So if I have something swimming, thank God forbid, thank you, I don't. But if there was something swimming in my veins meant to give colonizer jurisdiction over my land by superseding my whole body, it's null and void. Like here, he voided it. Anything that goes against us having the freedom of our land, was it? Okay. Numerous and repeated statements by the church and the popes uphold the rights of Indians. Okay, I'm gonna say Indians because that's what's in the contract. We should have been just been called Americans, but that was another form of like a hijack and a grab by calling us Indian. For example, in the 1537 bulletin, Sublimis Deus, Pope Paul III wrote, "We define and declare said Indians and all other people who may later be discovered by Christians are by no means to be deprived of their liberty or the possession of their property, even though they be outside the Christian faith, and that they may and should freely and legitimately enjoy their liberty and possession of their land." We got to translate the commercial terms. Uh, or should they be in any way enslaved in any way? See, unlike the Constitution that says voluntary servitude, this says nor should they be in any way enslaved. Now, the interesting thing is he's repeating something another pope said, but the fact that he's including this in his statement, it revalidates what this pope said. So one might argue, well, Pope Francis himself didn't say it. He's quoting another pope. That's fine. He's just trying to show that really this should have been stopped back in 1537. So really, that's another case against them, because if it continued from 1537 after it was all made void, that's like an extra penalty, y'all. Because you got a penalty of doing it in the first place, right? But then you got the penalty of continuing to do it after it's been voided. Now he's quoting this null and void thing happened back in 1537. So the Pope, I think what he's trying to do, he's trying to make it like we're not that bad. We did say this back in 1530, but Pope, even you saying this now, when you did it, you were dancing with Mongolians to celebrate this. There was no misclassified Indians. So, yes, we missed it. We missed it. We kind of missing this. You know, if it wasn't for Heru, I just don't know what would happen. I'm kidding. I'm just saying, I'm the only Indian out here talking like this, yo. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it like it is. And I do listen. Like, we have a lot of Indians that they pride themselves that they don't listen to other Indians. Okay, so then how are you a chief? You know what I'm saying? So, but I think there's Indians out there that like to say, I don't watch nothing. And I'm just coming here and I just think, uh, okay, but you're speaking outside of your tribe as a chief when you go to YouTube, right? Technically, you're speaking to those outside of your tribe. So then, why wouldn't you listen to what other Indians have to say? You know, and I do uh, watch certain. Excuse me. I do it less now because I feel that I've been given a way out. So like I was going to other Indian channels basically to see how or if they have any comprehensive uh protocol for us getting our land back. And I think what I began to see is that it's just a round robin. It's like a potluck. It's one week we talking about serious stuff, and the other week we interviewing
Judge Joe Brown or something, or just, and he's completely, got the boule thing going on and the Masonic thing going on. So it's like, why are we talking to dudes like that? Why? He barely claims being Indian. What is the purpose of him speaking on Indian platforms? You know? Um, so yeah, the purpose of visiting Indian platforms is what are we doing to get our land back? Okay, I know we laugh, we argue with the Moors, we argue with Mongolians. Okay, after that, now what are we doing? And so you start to realize, oh my God, I don't think anybody's talking about our standing. And I'm still learning, but I feel like I'm the only one that's seeing this. Is it that they're turning a blind eye to our standing? Actually, being manipulated by Moors? So what I'm saying is I slowly have little less need to watch other Indian platforms because it's looking like I'm the only Indian that's trying to get a sense of having his birthright back for real, and not in their system. You can't get your birthright back in this federal system. It's just not happening. They've cheated you so much. It's like most Indians are smart enough that they will say, I went to so and so, and that motherfucker charged me this, and I went to blah blah blah, and I ain't going back there no more. Indians are like constantly going back to the element that cheated them, and still cheating them, and they keep. It's like, do you see that you're in a mental trap program? Does any Indian see that you're in a program? Wash, rinse, repeat. You're going back to the same colonizer that has been lying to you for centuries, including the Republican Party. When did they suddenly become our hero? By the psyop from the Democrats. So that's what they're doing. They're psyoping you to run back and forth. But again, what has the Republican Party when have they declared that all misclassified Indians should get their land back? If that's what a Republican Party would have to do for me to join, and then I would still not join because why? I'm not, well, you're admitting that I have a separate jurisdiction from you, so there's no need for me to join your jurisdiction. That's what Republicans would have to do for me to think that they're on my side. If they're not doing that, they're pulling you into another psyop that you're falling for, willing to run from Democrats? From one end of the room to the other type of game? No, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. So Heru is always going to be looking for the real, yo. He's just always going to be looking for the real. Yeah. And it's level. I'm a water sign. I'm going to find that level, and I'm going to level up, and I'm going to move on up out of that. That's what I really love about the water sign. It's really one of the most powerful. I didn't think it was, but I'm realizing water, it has 3 different manifestations. It can be solid, it can be liquid, and it can be air. So when it comes to dealing with constitutions, one for the land, one for the sea, one for the air, I got you covered, yo. I'm in all of those elements, yo, as a water sign. And so a water sign is not to be played with. And it's just something I'm starting to come into because I really thought I would want to be a fire sign. I thought to myself, if I had to choose, I'd probably be an Aries or a Sagittarian or last of all, Leo. Now I love Leo, but and the funny thing is that's what I have in my chart of Leo. I just
I had a little bit of reservations with Leo, I'm not sure. I'd have to go into it more. But what I do like about Leo is the fixedness. It's a fixed fire, so it's not going to blow out. That's the one thing about Leo that's cool. They're a fixed fire. That's almost like an eternal flame. So you're not going to blow out a Leo, whereas other fires, they're not as solid. A Leo is solidly fire. So that's actually a good thing. And that's what I have. I have, a Leo in my chart. Mercury in Leo and a Venus in Leo. So actually, it is probably the best thing for a mission of regaining a birthright, because you're not going to put the fire out. It's a fixed fire. And then there's card. Those are the different modalities, I think they call it. Every sign has a mutable, cardinal, and then a fixed modality. I won't get too deep into that, but so yeah, I won't really stay for the shenanigans. If when I'm at my best, I won't stay for shenanigans. I'll get what I can get, and then I get back on track, because I feel like Indians are just being derailed. They're being pushed away from the position they need to get their land back. Like, you being given lip service about getting your land back, but ain't nobody putting you on the path for that to even happen. And yet in this video, I feel the ancestors just dropped one in my lap that I wasn't expecting. So on that note, I don't want to belabor it and make it a long video, because we got a big drop in this. This document is key in getting your land back. What this document and your linguistic map, a stamp, or maybe a registered mailing to your nearest land patent office, let them know who's in charge again. Boom, your land is back. And whoever's on it, what's the result? Am I going to just get my land automatically, like throw everybody up? They're not going to want to just leave like that. So you're going to have to pay rent. Well, how much is an Indian going to charge? Whatever he wants. Now, if Indians get together, we could do this as a collective. But you got to get out of this damn federal mindset. Trump ain't that for you, yo. He ain't you getting out of your federal mindset. He's you finding a foreigner to represent you when you don't need to be represented in a system that you're not in. Congress doesn't even represent you. So what is a president going to do? According to the Constitution, you don't have representatives in Congress. Why are you running to Trump? He's not the real lawmaking thing here. Congress is, you dummy. Sorry, I don't mean to call y'all dumb. But, we're forgetting who's the real lawmaker. It's Congress. That's why Congress has plenary authority. So you boo-loving on Trump, you need to be talking to Congress and telling them that you're an Indian not taxed. That's all you need to tell them. I'm not talking about some long, let's go down memory lane, because we shouldn't have a memory lane with you. So you still showing that you don't understand the way the system works. You built it, but you have no idea how it works. You think Trump is your savior? You better start looking at Congress. They're the ones who have claiming to have plenary authority over you, not Trump. Those are the ones you got to tell them, you ain't plenary authority. Do y'all know how to read a damn Constitution? You don't have any authority. if I'm not counting me, I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it until it makes sense. If you're not counting me for representation in Congress, how are you representing me? To have plenary authority over me. You're delusional. You don't let the Moors whisper in your ears again, Congress. Like every time the Moor starts whispering, people get they get delusional. Uh, yeah, that's another point by which Trump ain't your savior. You better start thinking in terms of Congress, because again, those are the ones who saying that they have plenary authority that the Constitution never gave them. So you got to go to Congress and ask them, how did you get plenary authority? You don't even represent Indians according to the Constitution. How did you get plenary authority? And watch them start calling up statutes and codes where you just tell them that does not apply, that doesn't apply, that doesn't apply, that doesn't apply. Come again now? There's no court cases that you can pull up, Congress, because Indians were not citizens. We shouldn't have been in your courts. So again, how did you get plenary authority? Oh, by misclassifying me? Or did the Constitution say you have a right to misclassify me? The 14th Amendment did? Well, yeah, that's in direct conflict with the Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, isn't it? Which one came first, Congress? The 14th Amendment or Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3? And then all them seats in Congress, they have several seats. Have several seats, Congress. All them seats you got, sit your ass down. The boss just walked in. Indians, do you really want your land back? I suggest you start listening to what the ancestors are dropping. You don't have to like the messenger. Get with the message. On that note, I think we're going to stop this now because this wasn't supposed to be a long video. And you know I turn everything into a damn fiasco. No, I'm not doing that today. This was a very specific message and it came with gifts because that's not where I intended to go. Where we went, I didn't intend to go there. So I thank the ancestors. Thank you again, ancestors. And ancestors, I thank you, listener. We need to talk about this issue of the repudiation and the fact that the Pope says he quoted another Pope. So it's him and another Pope saying that we should not be deprived of our, well, they mean land. They talk in commerce language. We got to translate it. So because we're law of the land, they are commerce. So they talk in terms of commerce. We have the lawful footing to translate. It's not liberty, it's our God-given freedom. It's not property, it's our land. So anything that's stopping us from living freely and enjoying our land freely is null and void. If you're here, you go and India, you have a right to live in those beautiful places now. On our Algonquin territory, we have something called Martha's Vineyard, I believe. If I wanted to take that, okay. Say now I don't take it. I could rent it out to anybody who's there. So Indians in this system, you were supposed to prosper, you're supposed to profit. But because they delayed that, now you gotta go hog wild on these asses. The price just went up, y'all. You thought it was a multi-million-dollar, it just went up to $1 million. I've been cheated out of since what? The 1600s? Stop playing with me, y'all. It's not going to be as profitable to stay here, and that's the point. We want them to leave. But while they're here, we're going to be living like Trump, right? Let's not vote for Trump. How about let's beat Trump? But you know I don't like that colonized dollars. I'm just saying, we deserve to have the best of our land. There's a house or a building on your land that you like. You ain't going to do it like a Moor, though. See, a Moor get your ass in jail. He don't got no authority. He ain't in the Constitution. Kick that Negro. He's the first thing that gotta go. Take that, pull him by that damn tassel on his face and swing that Negro back to Africa. Monster glue that thing to your head since you love it so much, so I can take you by the tassel and swing your ass and round your ass back to Africa. Morocco. You so in love with Morocco, you need to be there. Stop talking out two sides of your mouth. Get your ass in that Morocco and stay your ass there. They really messed it up, y'all. And they did it to themselves. Look, when I tell you as an Indian, you didn't do this to them Indians. They did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. It was greed that motivated them. It wasn't God. It wasn't even the devil, yo. It was just them. Okay. He created the monster that they are. Look at Diddy. He is the image of a Moor because it was of it all. You can't tell me this man wasn't greedy. I mean, he was taking he would if had a wife that he wanted, he would do something to make you disappear. He marry your wife and raise your kid. Why? Why? There's plenty of beautiful women. You have to take his woman because you jealous of him? Albie? I mean, I can see why, but I'm just saying though. That's greed, y'all. Avarice. And I'm sorry that this has to fall on Diddy. I mean, only because I feel like he was kind of set up. I think he's an ignorant. If he's an Indian, he's an ignorant Indian who didn't know that this would ever happen because he was protected by the same people that's prosecuting him now. That's the part that I'm talking about. That's what's the unjust part. The system that did all the wheeling and dealing to create you now gets to judge you. And there's something terribly wrong with that. So in that sense, I feel bad for him. I have to say, just like an Indian, you got led to believe that this system was your friend. But this system is going to be the same one that prosecutes. Meanwhile, they led you to do everything you did, like the Moors do, and then you go to jail. After the Moors told you, go in court and say this and tell him you from the Moorish Empire and the Ottoman Empire and the Petit the Bari and Abu Bakari and the Batari and then the Badahari, all of that. And it's like your ass gets to go to jail, and that Moor keeps to keep telling fibs, and the government don't touch him. He gets to have a Moorish science temple spreading all these lies, and yet he ain't getting in trouble because he paying his tax. Indians don't pay tax, but this fool is paying it. He ain't no Indian. That's why. His job, the Moor's job, just like Diddy's job, was to get you caught. That's what the Moor's here for, y'all. He to jail. That don't know this, you really need to get real. You know that there's something wrong with you because you're living here, but all your dedication is to assault him in Morocco. Or if he done moved his ass over here, whatever. But both of y'all is talking about Morocco. Then why aren't you in Morocco? What are you stealing from Indians while trying to tell them that they're from Morocco as well? Everything is what you're stealing. Their birthright, their identity, their image of likeness, their mannerisms. Ain't nobody got swag like India. These Moors, there's no way that y'all are in tune with the answers. Y'all definitely have to be somewhat off because you are all the way off in your doctrines. On that note, enough, enough banging on the beats for tonight. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. Till next time, be and stay highly favored.
Okay, that's our repost. And hopefully we edited out the point at the 2 hour, 6 minutes, and 55 seconds of misinformation. So we'll try this again, and things don't work out, we'll try it again and again and again and again. You know, we'll just see what happens, y'all, you know. Now, when we get our system set up and we have a YouTube, and that's don't have to be monitored because we're a separate government and all of that, then we won't have to worry about this. Okay. All right now. You take care now. You hear?